All right. What's going on, fellas? Hey, welcome to Goodwood University. If you could hop in the comment section and let me know that you can actually hear me. This is Brian, aka Uncle B, and this is Goodwood University office hours. We're now just just about to get into it all. We're just waiting for a few more people to hop on. Do want to give some shout outs to people who've already joined us in our burpee challenge. If you haven't joined us, then we got a link sitting right there in the chat section where you can join us. Because today we're going to be talking about something that's really important. Something that happens to a lot of guys and trying to figure out why. Today I'm going to tell you. And that is, why is your erection leaving during sex? It's there are some main reasons, and then there's that other side of reasons, which is there the number of people. There's many reasons. There's a number of people on the planet, but when it comes down to it, and your erection is leaving during sex, you don't want to hear that. You want to hear the answer. That's what we do here. Goodwood University. We give you the answers on what you need to know in terms of how to get better overall and sexually healthy. What's going on, J10H? London is in the house. All right. What's going on, Sky? 22. Having problems with those achieving long and hard erections and fit and train. Yeah. Well, we're going to shed some light on that for you, sir. Anybody else, please hop into the comment section. Let me know where you are from, your name, and if you got any questions, that's where we get it in. So let's hop into it. So for my guys out there who try to figure out why your erections are leaving even during sex, that's what we're talking about today, and we're going to set you up so you don't have to worry about these issues anymore. And it always comes down to you gotta control your lifestyle and things like that. What's going on, Eben? And I'm going to give you all the tips that you need right here to get that taken care of. So the first thing to understand is where exactly you are on the sexual performance scale. That's a scale of 1 to 10. 10 means everything works. 1 means you need to go to the hospital. Most guys who are unreliable are sitting at that 5 range. So if you're in that 5, 6, or 7, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's typically where you're like, hey, I have an erection, but now it's leaving. What just happened? Why is this happening? We're going to break that down. And when you're looking at that scale, so you can first start with where you are on that scale. So if you're in that 5, 6, 7 range, you have to be very serious. You have to be very deliberate about the things that I'm going to tell you, because this is going to happen again. And the thing about the sexual performance scale is that you can go down the scale. It's sort of, I've been a 5 before on this scale. This is before I figured out a whole bunch of things. Some of the things I'm going to tell you. But when you're a 5, you're like, hey, I was fine all the way until she got here, and then my erection left, and then this happened, and this happened. Why is it happening? And once you start looking at your lifestyle and start tracking things backwards, you can start figuring out how to save yourself. Donald, what's going on, South Carolina house? Yes, indeed. And let's talk about really quick about ED itself. When we're talking about erectile dysfunction, it's either you're not having erections at all. That's what we call a 0. Or you're at a stage where it's like, okay, I just can't stay hard long enough. It just comes, goes, you don't have any control of it at all. That's when you're really in ED land. And it gets really confusing with that. But we're also, obviously, we have to talk about, if you have the excessive alcohol, you're doing the drugs, you're doing it, things that can mess with your blood pressure, whether you're having high blood pressure or low blood pressure. All of that stuff counts. Obviously, we're talking about obesity, cholesterol, diabetes, cardiovascular disease. All of these things are going to add up. And so if you have those issues, obviously it's important that you take care of those issues first thing. My man Eben says, don't leave. I think my problem is getting it up. When it's up, it does the job perfectly. Okay. Yeah. We'll talk about that, because that, when we're talking about this, as you'll see, we're talking about the 5 different things. We're talking about your energy, your sleep, your exercise, your intermittent fasting, and your soul, the ECS 25 program. But when it comes to that soul, that last piece, we're going to talk about that, because you could be perfectly healthy and your Johnson is not in agreement with you in terms of like, when are you supposed to get up and get going. So let's talk about what you eat first of all, because obviously that has one of the biggest direct effects on your system. So obviously, maybe when you were younger, you were able to, have a drink or two and then have sex with no problem. As you get older, your testosterone goes lower. That means your body's not is not breaking down that alcohol the way it used to. And so now you can actually have a drink the day of and not be able to function, even the day before, even 2 days before I got to that point. I started noticing, like, hey, and this is the thing you have to do. You have to start noticing what your patterns are. So I will have a drink the night before, and then the next night, like, what happened? Why am I not having an erection? It's because of what you consumed. And also, we're talking about inflammatory foods. High on that list of inflammatory foods is meat. I'm not a person saying that don't eat meat, but I am saying if you're having issues, this is a cause, because it causes a level of inflammation in your body. When we're talking about fried foods, when we talk about animal protein in your system, it stays for 6 to 8 hours. Sugar lowers your testosterone for a good hour. That's when you're younger. As you get older, the sugar is going to last a little bit longer. When we talk about highly refined flours, milk and cheese, milk is basically from a giant female. It's designed for her calf. It's not designed for us humans, so it causes problems. It also is made with, you have sugar and salt added into the cheese, so those two things are messing with your system. And especially if you're dealing with, high fructose corn syrup, which is in almost everything nowadays, any of the sodas. So, I've had conversations with guys who are like, what? Yeah, I was good in the morning, and then by this evening, what happened? First of all, your testosterone goes down by 20% during the course of the day. Your testosterone is highest first thing in the morning. That's the reason why you have morning erections. Yeah, your testosterone is high. While you're sleeping, your body is building up that testosterone, and when you wake, yeah, that's the reason why you have that morning erection. Um, and what I'm saying may seem like a lot, but it's just a matter of, as long as you have an understanding of the information, you can start applying it and start getting better and better. And also, one of the big things about eating food is that you really don't want to do that right before sex. It's like swimming. You want to avoid swimming. Don't swim 3 hours before having sex. Same thing applies when it comes to having sex. You want to avoid that food because it's going to cause some issues. There's some things that you can consume, like, plants, vegetables, fruit, but that's about it. It's better to have, a flush system so you can function. Now, what's going on, Steve? New York is in the house. We talked to something about that, maybe even, I'm not sure. This comes in a lot that a lot of people don't address. I call it partner erectile dysfunction. That's right. You heard me right. Partner erectile dysfunction. What is that? That's when your partner no longer turns you on. That's the long and short and brutal end of it. It's and it doesn't have to be physical. It can actually be more psychological, and that's the one that's a little bit more tricky. So, say for example, you have a beautiful wife. You're coming home. Everything is great, but the problem is that you're at work. You're stressed, and you get home and that stress is not alleviated. You're taking the stress from outside of the house and you bring it and you're assigning it to a person. So you actually have stress and you come home, see this person, have stress, see this person, have stress, see this person, and soon you see the person and you have stress. Now, it may not be the way that you're thinking immediately, like, oh yeah, it's just the stress. It can linger on to later on. It's like, this person doesn't turn me on, I'm not sure why, what happened, because you're assigning stress to this person. That's just a natural thing that happens. What I often recommend to guys is go on vacation. You have to leave. You have to be out of the environment. It's called a rut. It's called a rut for a reason, because it's hard to get out of it. You get into it and you get out. It's hard to get out. The way to get out is to be in a different environment where, have the kids go with grandma somewhere like that, and you and her get to spend time together having relaxation, just being around each other. That's going to help. One of the other things is that you need to do, as far as the solution is concerned, is foreplay. I always say foreplay is for men. That's right. The reason why foreplay is for men is because if you don't have foreplay, then when's the last time you had physical touch with somebody? As men, this is sort of funny. I mentioned this to women, and they get it once I say it, but never think about it. It's like, as men, we typically aren't walking around just touching other people. You know, We see, it's like the boys, like, hey, hey, we all hug with that arm in the middle type of thing. That happens. It's like it's not like we can walk up on a lady with her baby, like, oh, can I pick up your baby? No, 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 you ain't picking up nobody else's baby. So we don't go around getting touched. So we're missing that aspect of it. Also, if you're constantly thinking about work and work and work and this and this and this, by the time you get to your woman, you're not thinking, you haven't had the touch, your testosterone isn't turned on, you just gone from I'm looking at this computer screen to now I'm looking at this human and I'm supposed to be turned on. That can take a while. You need foreplay. You need foreplay. Foreplay will stimulate your testosterone. You have more testosterone. You can actually last longer. That's the whole part of it. Also, condoms. Condoms is you have a rubber balloon around your Johnson. Is that supposed to work well for you? Probably not. It's not going to work well for you because you're it's the most sensitive part of your body is now in the balloon. So I mean, obviously, this is a conversation to have with your partner there because it's a question like maybe there's a reason to have the condom. Go with that, but it can cause some issues, so you should be aware of that. So at the very least, you can have the discussion. You know, hopefully, if it's your wife, you're good. If it's someone you don't know, put the condom on. You know how this goes. And also another solution for guys that may not be aware: wear socks. Wear socks. That's because uh, when you're in physical activity, blood flows all throughout your entire body, and you want that blood flow to be in the middle of your body. And so, if you have socks on, if your feet are warm, it's like, oh, we don't have to send as much blood down to your feet. Let's just keep it in the middle of the body, so you have bigger, stronger, firmer erections. You may notice that a lot of porn stars often have socks on or shoes or boots or something like that. So, also one other thing, just to make the sex more enjoyable. This is a huge thing. The sex has to be enjoyable. Stretch. Make sure you're stretching so you don't get yourself locked into a position and things like that. You're trying to figure out, well, why isn't the sex any good? Because you're not the same age as you were before. um, mhm. So that you can, you need to actually just get better over a period of time, and part of that is that you have to take care of your body. So right before having sex, a lot of people don't think about it, but yeah, get your stretch on. Get your stretch on. All right. HZM, why was your channel handle renamed? We did that a while ago. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we have Goodwood University, and we started with Brian Ayers, so that would be me. And the other thing, when it comes to partner erectile dysfunction, a solution is to be relaxed. Once again, that vacation is important. Even if you can't go on vacation, just understand that the whole thing with sex is there a combination between stress and relaxation. That's what stress. That's what sex is. So you have that. There has to be movement, so that's that level of stress, and it has to be some level of pleasure, so you keep doing it. So um, at the very least, if you're already stressed, and this is something to think about, when you're stressed, you're releasing cortisol. Cortisol is the enemy of testosterone. Cortisol goes up, testosterone levels go down. So you want to increase your amount of relaxation, so your testosterone is going up, not your cortisol. Um, and let me just go ahead and I'll just go ahead and say it now. Just want to make sure it's not later. Oh, really quick for the guys who are just coming in, my name is Brian, aka Uncle B. I am the men's performance coach with Goodwood, and you are here at Goodwood office hours, Goodwood University office hours. Thanks for hopping on. And guys, just to let you know, we do have currently have a challenge going on, a 30-day burpee challenge. So you can get your health on and everything else. If you check out the link at the top of the comment section, you'll see that there. You can go ahead and sign in, join us. We have some bonuses and all this other kind of stuff to make it fun. So back to it. All right. So something to think about, guys. This is something really important. I hope you're paying attention to this. If you're having an issue with your erections leaving during sex, part of that is up here. And let's address that. So what's happening is if you had a bad session, things didn't go right. It was like, oh, this normally doesn't happen. And then the next time it happens again. It's like, oh, this normally doesn't happen. It could start to get to your head. And what I was saying about cortisol starts applying. So what you'll start doing, which you probably never did before, is thinking like, okay, she's coming over in my heart. She just came in my heart. She just took her clothes off in my heart. All of that, you're just constantly thinking about it, and you're setting yourself up for failure because you're stressing yourself. It's like you never had to do that before. So don't worry about it now. So just put yourself in the mind state of like, yeah, it works, you know. And when she gets there, do your foreplay. That's what's really going to turn you on, not just sitting there thinking about, is it hard? Is it hard? Uh, for a lot of guys, just understanding that piece right there takes a ton of stress off. You could almost fix the issue for a lot of guys instantly if that's the main issue. If you're having erections, everything is fine. Then all of a sudden, she's here, and it just won't. It's because you're overthinking. Literally, you're overthinking. Okay. All right. So and let's talk about what happens when when it does happen. And for those guys who are concerned, yes, this does happen to just about everybody. I won't say everybody because I don't know everybody, but for the vast majority of men, at some point in your life, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I want to get it in. I've talked to guys who like they can do this with one person, one girl, no problem. Another girl, they have a problem. It was like, what's going on? It's a million different reasons, but let's talk about what happens when it does. When you do eventually run into this issue, the first thing is do not get stressed. Do not get stressed. As I said before, you get stressed, you're going to cause too much cortisol. Just relax. Really, take a break. Have more foreplay. There are other I have a book on different techniques to use on, for your sexual pleasure. And part of that is using your hands. It's like it's the everywhere tool. So you can be touching, be touched, et cetera, et cetera. All this stuff is going to help you get better when it comes to that. Eating or drinking anything other than water is not helpful. So it's like, okay, we get into it, things aren't working correctly. I've had, a girl like, well, why don't you probably need to eat something. And I was like, oh yeah, I probably need to eat something. As soon as I ate something, it was like my stomach was, I'm filled. Now I still have the same problem because part of it was it was that actual partner erectile dysfunction, and the other part was like I was stressed out, and now I ate. That combination is not going to get you better. Um, and the other thing, one of the most important things is learn the lesson from the last time, man. It's like everything revolves around patterns. 25% of your body is your DNA. The other 75% is your pattern. So I've been 5'10" at 285 pounds and 5'10" at 170 pounds. Same DNA, different pattern. One pattern I got fat, the other pattern I was slimmer. There you go. So you have to remember, if you're having a bad experience, think into like what's going on. Did you have something to drink that you shouldn't have drank? When's the last time you ate? What did you eat? Have you been stressed out? Have you, do you have a full stomach right now? What is it that's going on? Is it that she just doesn't turn you on anymore? Do you guys need to take a break? Do you need to relax? Whatever it is, as long as you figure out what happened, the next time you'll be prepared for it. It's like, oh, I know now that I can't drink. I mean, I'm slowing down on my drinking regardless, but right before sex, if the day or the 2 days before, it's going to be a problem. Um, it's a lot less of an issue. That was a problem when I was a 5, 6, and 7. Definitely the 5, 6, and 7. But now that I'm at a 9, it's less of an issue. So you want to get yourself as far up the sexual performance scale as possible, so all these different things don't have that same effect. You're actually, the higher up on the sexual performance scale, basically the younger you are. It's like if you're at, remember being 22 and everything worked. Sometimes it doesn't. But what up, Scott? But yeah, at the point where everything was working, it's like, yeah, that's just nature, that's just health, that's just everything working for you. As you get older, all these things start becoming a problem. Used to be able to go out, dance all night, have some drinks, and bam, it's on and popping. Typically ain't going to work the same if you're getting older and you're lower on that sexual performance scale. All right. And obviously, the biggest thing you can do is check on your supplementation game. So we do have. got them right here. Goodwood and Goodwood Advanced. So if you're taking herbal supplementation, that's going to help you. These two products increase your testosterone and your blood flow. The Goodwood Advanced also helps for guys who are older, so they can keep more of the testosterone. But there are other herbs that we talk about, including maca and ashwagandha, huarn paro. Uh, it's a long list of different herbs. The more you understand about your herbal game, herbal supplementation, what things you should take, and when, it's a game changer. And just understand certain things take longer. What a lot of guys do when it comes to herbs is like they think it's like Viagra. I just take it right beforehand, and everything else I was doing is fine. So it's like, yeah, I drank a 40, I was smoking a blunt, and now I'm gonna take this good wood and everything is fine. It's like, nah, bro, you're poison. You're poison. That's not gonna work out well. So, once again, fellas, if you got any questions, go ahead, hit me up in the comment section. Love hearing from you. So yeah, that's really what's going on. There are several things you need to pay attention to. If you're losing your erections, you have to pay attention to your patterns when it comes to your health and your fitness, your eating, what you're drinking. Those are the most important things, especially the eating and drinking part. And also, you got to control your stress. And learn your lessons. That's the big thing. Once you understand your patterns and you switch things up, what I'm teaching you guys is from patterns. It's like I saw patterns on a whole bunch of different guys who are having, like, I have this issue, I have this issue, I have. It's like, okay, there's a pattern that's going on. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. So there we go. um so cool, 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 cool. um hmm, okay, okay. So yeah, there we go. Once again, this is Brian, aka Uncle B, and yeah, this is Goodwood Office Hours. We hop on every Friday at 1 p.m. so we can answer your questions. If you got any questions, go ahead, hit us up in the comment section, and we get you taken care of. Let me just check through and make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't believe so. All right, so I do want to address Scott right quick. Norway. Oh, Norway. Okay. Scott. Uh-huh. All right. So at 22, typically we're sitting there thinking, okay, at 22, you're not going to have any problems. The issue nowadays is that one, testosterone levels around the world have been plummeting for the past few generations. So my grandfather has more testosterone at my age than I do. And this has less to do with just us physically, well, our DNA, and more to do with the patterns. So, when I grew up, McDonald's closed. The TV went off. So there's a difference in our lifestyle from back in the day. And there's only a 30-year difference between me and Scott. So there's a huge difference in lifestyle changes. So we didn't go around when I was younger doing like this all day long. So, uh, so there's if you're not paying attention to the different changes and how to counteract them, then you're gonna run into problems. I would say very specifically one thing that guys miss, and of course, Scott, I don't have all the information on you, but I would say this: sleep is huge. Sleep is a huge one that guys often miss when it comes to understanding your erections. So think of it this way: your testosterone forms while you're sleeping. If you have a shortened amount of sleep, then you're not going to get the higher level of testosterone. What's a good amount of sleep? 7 to 8 hours. Everyone is different. Me, I don't need as much sleep as a lot of people, but then again, it's like, does that affect me? It probably does. It's probably like more habit than necessary. But now I'm training myself to get better sleep. And how did I train myself to get better sleep? 10:30. That's it. 10:30. I'm already in bed. My goal is to actually, get to like 10 o'clock. Get as many hours as possible. And also, I don't have an alarm clock. Uh, Fortunately, I tend to wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Before, I used to wake up at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Couldn't fall back to sleep. But I got that taken care of. But without that alarm on, if I need that, my body's like, yeah, yeah, you need an extra level of sleep, go for it. Before I was like, I've got to wake up at 5 o'clock so I can get to the gym and do all this stuff. It's like I'd rather have the drugs that come with good sleep. And that's actually what happens. Your body creates a mountain of good drugs, and it gets rid of bad stuff in your body. That's the reason why you end up with morning erections and things like that. So um, that may be something that is uh, That may be something that you need to focus in on is making sure you get that sleep. Um, Even is beef liver recommended? Um, I don't recommend that if you're having issues with your sexual health because it's once again it's meat. It's you know the concept is the thought pattern is that you eat meat and it's going to give you more energy. It actually takes energy because meat is when we consume it, it's dead. True carnivores eat meat alive. They don't cook it, they don't skill it, they don't do anything. They eat it raw. We're not designed to eat things raw. If you eat it raw, obviously it could possibly and kill you. So eating beef liver, I will just what you're trying to get, the energy that you're trying to get is with the animal that you're trying to get it from. Got from eating the plant. So not grass, but whatever plants you have, that's where all the energy comes from. Energy comes from starts coming from the sun, stores itself in fruits and vegetables, and we can consume it. That's where we get our energy from. All the other, eating meat can be problematic. Can be problematic. Once again, I'm not against guys eating meat, but if you have sexual health issues, that is something to pay attention to. It is just as serious as there was a movie. I don't have the. Do I have it right here? There was a movie on Netflix, Game Changers. Check out Game Changers. It may still be on Netflix. I believe so. But yeah, they actually did an experiment with guys eating meat, group of guys eating meat, and they measured their erections overnight. And if you eat meat, your erections are smaller and they last for a shorter amount of time. You're supposed to have 4 to 5 erections a night. That fifth erection is your morning erection. When the same group of guys didn't eat meat the next night or whenever they did it again, yeah, they had much better erections, much longer lasting erections. So if you're having good erections while you're asleep, you're going to have good erections while you're awake. That's simple. That's simple. Cool. All right, guys, we're coming up on the 30-minute mark for Goodwood University office hours. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. And of course, like it. Like this. Uh-huh. Ah, let me go ahead and answer this question. Even said the tablet. I'll be honest, I would say that's almost even worse. um, beef liver tablet. Hmm, interesting. Um, I'm not familiar with that. I will say this. I will say this. I am not a person who's, I'm agnostic. I'm like, whatever works for you. If that worked for you, I would say yes. But my experience is like, nah, no, because if you're taking a beef liver tablet, then more than likely you're missing everything. Tablets, pills, and tablets, those hard pills and tablets are the worst form of food known to man because basically they took a bunch of chemicals, slammed them together. You got some active chemicals that they synthesize, put into a pill machine, used a whole bunch of filler, slam it all together, and then they put a coat of, you know, paint or whatever you want to call it on top of that, and then you consume that. So now you're eating almost nothing but death at that point. So I when it comes to medication or anything like that, my goal is always to get guys to just get off of it as quickly as possible, as quickly as possible. And one way you can do that is by joining us in the burpee challenge. So go ahead and look at that link. Oh, beetroot. Okay. Oh, that's different. What's going on, J10? Watermelon and beetroot earlier on during the day. Would that be okay? Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100. You're that shoot. I have my all right. So the reason for guys who don't know that watermelon has L-citrulline, which is going to lead to your body actually increasing blood flow. And also the beetroot um are going to increase your nitric oxide level. So both of those basically do sort of the same thing, increase your nitric oxide level as well as other things. Obviously, watermelon is very hydrating. It's one of the most hydrating fruits on the planet. That's the reason why it's called watermelon. And by the way, your penis is mostly water, just like the rest of your body. So having more water in there, good deal. Um, so earlier on during the day, perfect, perfect. I have no argument with that at all. In fact, I would recommend it. In fact, that's what I do. So, um, Yeah, Vance is watermelon man right now. He got all. What's a what you got, like a bucket every day? Every day, every day, a whole watermelon. So obviously it'd be a little bit healthier if you're able to get the black seeded ones, but they don't have them around here. So what you going to do? So there we go, fellas. Let's take any other questions. We're about to end this session. Once again, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button. Just one other thing, just to let you know, YouTube has partnered with our drug overlords, and they don't allow my videos to be shown. If you do a search for testosterone or erectile dysfunction, it's not being shown. So we have to please support this channel. Typically I don't go into all the, hey, please hit the subscribe button. Yeah. But now we're at that point where it's like, yeah, I need for you to hit that like button. I need for you to subscribe so we can give you some more of this content, because they're trying to take it down. They'd rather you take those pills for the rest of your life. So there we go, fellas. That's all that I have for today. Thank you very much. We will be back next week. And let me see, just double check. What's on the calendar for next week? What's our topic? Yeah, we're going to be talking about sexual performance athletes, how you can become one and get better at being get better at dominating. If you're going to play a game to win for your lifetime, it might as well be sex. I'm trying to be that 82-year-old tearing all the seniors up, and got the nurses in line too. Yeah. Talk that ish. All right, fellas. That's all I got for you. Thank you very much for joining us, and I will see you next Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out.